By the start of August, the Allied front line extended from the mouth of the river Arno south of Pisa to Senigallia on the Adriatic coast. On the 8th Army Front in the centre of Italy on the 4th of August, units of 2 New Zealand Division and 6th South African Armoured Division entered the outskirts of Florence south of the Arno. They discovered all Arno bridges had been destroyed except the 14th century Ponte Vecchio in the heart of old Florence. Houses had been demolished in such a way as to block approaches at both its ends. On the evening of the 5th, the 2nd Canadian Brigade took over the New Zealand Division's sector of the now almost static front. The next night, on their right, the 1st Canadian Brigade relieved the South African Armoured Division. The New Zealand Division was shifted to the left to allow the 8th Indian Division to pass into reserve. The Canadians faced the Arno on a 10-mile front. The 1st Brigade sector included the triangular portion of Florence which lay south of the river. The German garrison, comprising 3 battalions of the 4th Parachute Division, still controlled 90% of the city. Allied Force Headquarters had ruled that the whole city of Florence must rank as a work of art of the first importance. The Canadians were using only their rifles and machine guns. The firing of anti-tank Piats and mortars in the built-up area had been forbidden. The Royal Canadian Regiment holding the waterfront east and west of the Ponte Vecchio suffered casualties from civilian snipers and mortaring and shelling. To end this practice, a force of 250 Italian partisans with Canadian infantry combed the south bank on the 8th of August. They rounded up more than 150 suspects and enough rifles, pistols and hand grenades to fill 2 trucks. The Canadian stay in Florence ended on the 8th of August. That evening they were relieved by the 8th Indian Division and moved 30 miles south to near Siena. By nightfall on the 10th, the division had rejoined the 1st Canadian Corps in the Perugia-Foligno area. On the withdrawal of the Canadian infantry from Florence, the Ontario Regiment reverted to the command of the 8th Indian Division. During the night of the 10th of August, the last elements of the 4th Parachute Division withdrew across the Mugnone Canal into Florence's northern suburbs. At daybreak on the 11th of August, white flags were flying along the Arno. They signalled the Germans had gone. Infantry of the 8th Indian Division and the 1st British Division on its right crossed the river and began organising the movement of food, medical supplies and water to the starving population in the main part of the city. The opening of the Ponte Vecchio to jeeps on the 14th of August eased the problems of supply. The next day, the Royal Engineers completed a Class 30 Bailey Bridge on the piers of the demolished Ponte Santa Trinita, 300 yards downstream.